Hey everybody, my name is Eric Hopkins and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're finding me for the very first time, please click that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications about when I put up new content right here on this channel. So there's a little bit of a big rumor going around right now on the internet, and it involves Hugh Jackman and, of course, his portrayal of Wolverine. So let's get into the article here from Screen Rant that states, Hugh Jackman has hinted at Wolverine returning, yes, in the MCU with the Avengers. Hugh Jackman's Instagram story indicates that he may return as Wolverine in the MCU, posting Wolverine fan art and a picture with the MCU Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige. Hugh Jackman seems to be teasing that he has become synonymous with the X-Men character after playing the mutant for nearly 20 years. Jackman has since retired from playing Wolverine, with his character dying at the end of 2017's Logan. While Jackman's days as Wolverine seem to have come to an end, the X-Men franchise isn't going away anytime soon. After numerous delays, last year's New Mutants ended Fox's X-Men series on a low note. Kevin Feige confirmed at San Diego Comic-Con 2019 that the X-Men would eventually be reintroduced into the MCU, and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is the only character that is not going to be rebooted after Disney acquired 20th Century Fox. For the past few years, there has been speculation on who would replace Jackman as Wolverine, but now it looks like Marvel might not need to hire a new actor. In Jackman's recent Instagram story, the actor seemingly teased that he may return as Wolverine. Two images involving Marvel appeared on his Instagram story, including a piece of fan art from infamous fan art artist Boss Logic, and another of Jackman with Kevin Feige. Both of these images can be seen below, as well as his tribute to the late Richard Donner. So here's the look at the Wolverine fan art that was posted, and here's the picture that he posted with Kevin Feige. It's a kind of a goofy photo of Feige, if you ask me particularly. But nonetheless, he wrote on his Instagram too, "Today we lost one of the most talented, courageous, cheeky, funny, loyal directors to have ever made movies, Richard Donner. Deb and I lost a great friend. Lauren, we send all our love to you and the whole family and the hundreds of dogs he rescued. Your movies, stories, your laugh will always be in our hearts." It should be noted that this is far from confirmation that Jackman is returning as Wolverine. Exactly. However, it is odd that he would post Wolverine fan art yesterday and then post a picture of him with Kevin Feige today. Previously, Jackman said that if the X-Men were to be introduced in the MCU, he would continue playing Wolverine. When he made that comment back in 2017, it seemed unlikely that the X-Men would be involved in the MCU since the rights to the X-Men were still owned by Fox. Now that the mutants joining the MCU is a reality, Jackman's wish could come true if Disney wanted to hire him. Even though Disney is rebooting the X-Men characters, Jackman's return shouldn't be ruled out. Fans are comparing a new actor to Jackman will be inevitable if Disney decides to recast his character. Hiring Jackman would not only prevent potential backlash, but it would also be a safe bet for the House of Mouse, since Jackman's portrayal of Wolverine has been well received over the years. Marvel has even set themselves up with an easy way for Jackman to return, with Loki introducing the concept of the multiverse and alternate realities. On the other hand, Logan had a proper send-off in 2017, so it may be better to cast a fresh face. Disney is still years away from implementing the superhero team into the MCU, so it could be quite a while before the studio announces who will play Wolverine. So yes, is it a possibility that Hugh Jackman could be returning as Wolverine in the MCU? Anything's possible. Never say never. However, take this with a massive, and I mean massive, grain of salt. Because let's be honest here. Hugh Jackman is, I believe, 53 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And he's gone on record as saying he doesn't want to do the 4 pounds of chicken, 4 hours a day workouts it takes to portray Logan anymore. So I think he feels, at his age and this point in his career, he feels like he's done with the Wolverine character. He stated this on multiple occasions. However, the article is correct. He has also stated that if he were ever given the chance to join the Avengers, he would consider it, or he would like to have done so. But again, that was said, 4 years ago while the X-Men franchise was still owned by Fox. So maybe he just kind of said that and be like, all right, if it were to ever happen, cool, I'd love to say yes to it. Not ever thinking it would ever actually come to pass and it might actually happen. So could he possibly join the MCU? Yeah. But I think if it were to actually happen, It could be a one and done appearance just because we never got to see it. It could be really cool to see it once and be done, because all the rumors and stuff going around about the Spider-Man movie that's coming out in December, with the possibility of Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield showing up in that film along with Tom Holland, as the three Spider-Man could team up in a multiverse alternate reality team-up film against possibly the Sinister Six from all the three realities combined. If you take that concept and apply it to the X-Men, you could conceivably have a movie where Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is ripped out of the X-Men multiverse that Fox produced over there, and have him pulled into the MCU timeline in kind of a multiverse of madness. Anybody from Doctor Strange 2? And maybe you have him appear in one film as Wolverine, and then he goes back to his timeline, and of course all the stuff from the X-Men timeline plays out, and he dies in Logan as normal. There's always that possibility, and Loki, the TV show on Disney Plus, has opened the door for that, considering we're dealing with one main timeline and these alternate timelines that could branch and cause chaos. So there's always a possibility when it comes to comic books. But eventually, I think that Logan will be recast. Wolverine will probably be recast in the MCU, probably portrayed by a younger actor, and of course we'll get a new version of the X-Men coming to the big screen as well, which I believe the rumored title for right now for that movie is called The Mutants. So it would make some sense, because when you get to know them, they're just mutants. They haven't formed the X-Men team yet, and if they do it in typical Marvel fashion, perhaps we get introduced to these mutants one at a time, and then they build and build and build to an Avengers-style team-up film called The X-Men. But a lot of people talk like it may not be called X-Men anymore due to some equality things and stuff. Some of that stuff going around in the news now. So we'll see what they do. Maybe the Mutants is just the title they choose to go forward with it. But yeah, I mean, never say never. I've always said that, especially when it comes to Tony Stark. Could Robert Downey Jr. return as Iron Man? Absolutely. There's always that possibility. It is, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so we've seen multiple characters die and come back, or, things like that. And anytime you introduce the idea of the multiverse, I don't think that Marvel fans, and DC fans for that matter, because they're kind of doing something similar over there, a little different, but it's a similar idea. I don't think fans have actually came to grips with the fact of what the multiverse could actually do for storytelling in these movies going forward. The comic book genre is at a place where I feel like if they aren't careful, it could become stale and stagnant for a lot of fans. And some fans have already said after the Avengers Endgame film that, all right, Marvel Cinematic Universe is done for me. I don't really want to watch it anymore. I feel like anything they do from here on out is not going to be any good. But one of the things that Loki has started to do, and the other Disney Plus shows like WandaVision and The Falcon and Winter Soldier, has started to lay these seeds of other characters that could be expanded upon in the future. So they're going to rebuild their roster. And of course, Loki also played with the idea of maybe everything we've seen up to this point with the Infinity Stones and Thanos. While it was important, it was very big for the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a story, it is also possibly a small portion of the universe that we have seen up to this point, and we have got so much from Marvel that we have not seen, and they have actually tried to make the Infinity Stones appear like maybe not the most powerful thing in the world, in the universe on a grand scale. There are other villains and characters out there that dwarf Thanos. Think about that. Thanos was considered the big bad of the Avengers Phase 1, 2, and 3, and there are characters out there that, would squash Thanos under their boot. So, there's a lot we've not seen. So I think the multiverse is going to open up a wide range of storytelling possibilities. Also, it also makes that possibility of we could be getting one-off movies that have nothing to do with the main MCU timeline or the main DCEU timeline, however that turns out after the Flash movie next year. So there are things we could do that doesn't necessarily have to be constrained by the storytelling of the main franchise series that's going on, and you could do one-offs like the Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix. You could do a Dark Knight trilogy or a Black Superman film, or apparently a Batgirl film that's coming to HBO Max that is going to take place away from the main story that they're telling. So you could do these alternate universe stories that still count. They're just in the vast multiverse that doesn't take place on the sacred timeline, so to speak, that Loki has discussed here. But again, Loki's even playing with the idea that maybe, that idea could be all folly. I don't want to get into many spoilers when it comes to Loki right now, but if you've not checked out Loki, go check it out. But when it comes to Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, never say never. Always a possibility, but take it with a huge grain of salt. Most likely this post from Hugh Jackman was, and people tend to forget, since Richard Donner passed away this week, yes, he was the director of Superman Parts 1 and 2. He was a director of the Lethal Weapon series and, of course, the Goonies. But people also tend to forget that Richard Donner was, I believe, the executive producer. He definitely produced the first X-Men film that was also, you know, Kevin Feige was involved with and starred, of course, Hugh Jackman. So most likely, Hugh Jackman was paid, you know, tribute to his director friend and producer friend and Richard Donner. I know everybody's like, oh, but, you know, he released these pictures before it was announced that Richard Donner died. But you got to understand, too, since Hugh Jackman knew the man personally in real life, I'm sure he probably got wind of it before he became public knowledge. So he probably posted these photos before, you know, everybody in the world knew about it, and, you know, just didn't say what it was about. Of course, he wrote the, you know, the tribute about what he said about Richard Donner on his Instagram after that was announced. But some of these photos were, you know, it was around the same time, but not exactly, you know, after. So I mean, the timing is interesting, but of course, you know, it's always possible. But I would just say, you know, hold all your theories for now and wait to see what happens. But the real question here is, guys, what do you guys think about the possibility of Hugh Jackman returning as Wolverine in the MCU? Do you think it could be possible? Do you think that maybe we'll go that route and not recast anybody and Hugh Jackman will play this character till he's Old Man Logan, literally? Or do you think it could be a one-off, or do you think he's not going to appear at all? Comment down below. Let me know. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get all the notifications about when I put up new content right here on this channel. And until my next video, guys, take care.